Most people think that a sterile processing technician is just about cleaning instruments, but the truth is this role goes way beyond the washers and sterilizers. From physical demands to emergency response, from specialty liaison roles to regulatory knowledge, sterile processing techs carry responsibilities that not only directly impact patient safety every single day, but also creates efficiency and clarity in the ever-changing environment. Today, I'm breaking down exactly what sterile processing technicians do and some of the requirements you may not know about, so stay tuned. Hey everyone, welcome back to The Sterile Guy. I'm Brandon, and if you're new here, my channel is all about sterile processing education, certification, and helping you succeed in this vital career. Please consider subscribing to the channel and hit the like button if you want world peace. So let's talk about what it really means to be a sterile processing technician. First up, let's cover the core duties that most people have an idea of. We're talking cleaning, decontaminating, inspecting, assembling, and sterilizing surgical instruments. It's the foundation of this job, and everything else revolves around these core functions. We're also responsible for running instrument and cart washers, ultrasonic cleaners, and a variety of sterilizers. We manage case carts and making sure surgical trays are ready and accurate. These are the everyday responsibilities that keep an operating room running smoothly. I've sometimes heard people refer to sterile processing technicians as dishwashers before, but that is so far from the truth. Think about it this way. Have you ever been in a restaurant and got a piece of silverware that wasn't completely clean? That's pretty disgusting. And really, the last thing I want to think about when eating at a restaurant is the thousands of different mouths that fork has been in. That's gross. But cleaning a surgical instrument is so much more complicated than your standard dinnerware. Not to mention, we aren't just sanitizing an instrument through a hot dishwasher. We are also checking the function, integrity, and safety of each instrument and removing every trace of viable life forms from that instrument using complex sterilization techniques according to the type of instrument we are dealing with. Your dinner fork may have been in a bunch of mouths, but surgical instruments have been inside human bodies and human body fluids from all walks of life, probably even carrying diseases like HIV and hepatitis C, to name a few. Making sure you don't have a standard surgery and come out with HIV is a pretty big priority. Sterile techs aren't dishwashers. They are highly professional biological warfare technicians. Respect the profession. Okay, enough about core responsibilities. Let's move on to physical requirements. The physical requirements you should be able to see within the job announcements if you're looking for a sterile processing job. So you've read job postings talking about a sterile processing job and the preferred or required prerequisites to apply. But what about the fine print in those job postings? Do you ever read that? If you've ever looked at the SPD job descriptions, you'll see some very specific physical requirements. These are usually referred to as something like essential physical requirements or something close to that. For example, the ability to lift 25 to 50 pounds on a regular basis, sometimes more depending on the hospital. Standing on your feet for long periods of time, sometimes your whole shift depending on what duties you're performing that day. Frequent bending, reaching, and pushing heavy carts that can weigh several hundred pounds. So is sterile processing hard on the body? It definitely can be, but your workplace should also do everything it can to provide ergonomic solutions to preserve your health. Things like stools, adjustable height sinks, and carts with caster wheels that require much less force to move. Don't just let your job wreck your body. Be informed of the ergonomic solutions and push your leadership to invest in those. You'll thank me in 10 years. So if you're wondering, do I need to be physically fit to do this job? The answer is yes. Sterile processing can be physically demanding, and employers want to make sure candidates are prepared for that. If you cannot meet those physical requirements, you need to be real with yourself before you apply. Not being able to fulfill those physical requirements can be grounds for termination from your job. When you apply, you are stating that you meet those qualifications. Now let's move beyond the basics. Safety and regulations. Now here's where many people are surprised. Sterile processing techs don't just clean instruments. We're also trained in safety and regulatory knowledge. You'll be expected to know a lot of things like OSHA and AAMI standards that guide how instruments and equipment are used and maintained, what limitations and barriers to safety are necessary for technicians. We also learn fire safety protocols because hospitals require that all staff are able to respond appropriately in the event of a fire emergency inside and outside your own department. Chemical safety and how to use the SDS, or safety data sheets, for things like enzymatic detergents, disinfectants, and sterilants. Also, knowing protocols for responding to chemical spills and chemical emergencies. We even learn mass casualty event response. What happens if there's a large-scale emergency and the hospital needs bodies to move casualties and man different stations? Sometimes part of a crew may be designated away from their department and given casualty tasks other than their normal duties, depending on the scale of the disaster situation. Now, let's talk specialty and liaison roles. In some facilities, sterile techs also take on these specialized roles within their department. Let's say you're the sterile processing orthopedic liaison. That means you're the go-to person in sterile processing for all the orthopedic trays and supplies. Here, you'll coordinate with the ortho liaison in the OR, which may be a scrub nurse or a surgical tech or both, and you're making sure the trays are up to date and that changes occur, such as surgeons coming in and onboarding and requiring different kinds of setups. You would also modify preference cards for surgeons as their preference cards change or they leave or come. This person would also serve as the subject matter expert, training other technicians within the department on everything that is happening and changing with orthopedics. Facilities might assign similar roles for things like neurosurgery, cardiovascular, or robotics as well. It adds an extra layer of responsibility, but also gives you deeper knowledge in a surgical specialty, which can help your career in the long run. Another area many people don't know about is the lead tech role. This isn't a supervisor position, but it's a step up for sure. Lead techs often handle training new staff, troubleshooting issues with equipment, and being the point person when the supervisor or manager isn't available. If you enjoy teaching and mentoring, this can be a great way to build leadership skills while staying hands-on. Now, let's answer the big question. Is this the right job for you? If you're asking yourself, do I have what it takes to be a sterile processing tech? Think beyond just the technical skills. Ask yourself things like, am I okay with a job that's physically active? Am I willing to stay up to date on regulations and safety standards? Do I like the idea of taking on specialized or leadership responsibilities in the future? If you answered yes, then this career might be a great fit for you. Sterile processing technicians are the hidden backbone of patient safety. Our work requires physical strength, technical precision, and constant awareness of safety and standards. It's not just a job. It's a responsibility that protects and saves lives every single day. If you want to learn more about how to become a sterile processing technician, click the first link in the description to check out Preppy, which is an accredited, online, and self-paced sterile processing technician training program. Preppy provides you the education and the hands-on training experience you need to get hired and certified as a sterile processing technician. Preppy also comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you try it out and feel the course isn't for you, easy peasy, money back pleasy. No risk for you. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe to The Sterile Guy for more sterile processing content, and drop a comment down below. What part of sterile processing roles and responsibilities surprised you the most? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one.